They're spooked after what happened at Hubble's house last night.
What happened at Hubble's house?
I killed Dawson Kleiner and 4 other guys.
What's going on in this normal-looking town? An unknown evil preying on the innocent. Not to worry, you're safe in Jack Reacher's oversized hands.
Get the box cutter.
I got it. You guys recycle.
Reacher Season 1 was a revelation for the action genre as far as I and the ratings were concerned, but I wondered if they could keep that momentum without stumbling into cringe territory or getting swallowed up by woke stuff.
That little cock tease.
Well, Reacher Season 2 officially ended not long ago, and it's a must-see TV. If you're not familiar with the 6'5" hunk of a man running around single-handedly destroying international crime syndicates, you need to get familiar immediately.
I want to throw you out of a helicopter.
Reacher is an adaptation of the popular book series, which follows the adventures of Jack Reacher, a former military police major turned wandering vigilante with a strong sense of justice. Tom Cruise first brought the character to the big screen about a decade ago, but those movies were rather forgettable and have slowly crept out of our memories. The TV adaptation features Alan Ritchson in the lead role of Jack Reacher. I don't know whose idea it was to cast him, but whoever it was, I'm putting them in my last will and testament.
I don't need a lawyer.
He speaks.
When he wants to.
Casting Richardson was a masterstroke, and you can tell that he really enjoys playing the character.
Do you like seeing it? It must be great to watch yourself beating others.
I love it.
I won't be surprised if he does some vigilanteing in his free time. He brings a menacing physical presence in sharp contrast to Tom Cruise, and it really reinvents the character for both existing fans and newcomers. The story typically revolves around Reacher's exploits as he wanders from town to town, stumbling into international conspiracies, taking down criminals, and dispensing his unique, lethal form of justice. In this case, the conspiracy is advanced weapons tech, the arms business, and corrupt government officials. Sound familiar? Well, that's just typical government stuff, and they wouldn't have gotten away with it too if they didn't kill the friends of our man Mountain. Now, we have a giant super cop going around to thanklessly handle it for us, before f***ing off to Arlington, Texas with nothing but a toothbrush, some 80s rock, and the confidence of being the biggest and smartest man in every room. It's a fun, straightforward whodunit with an unstoppable man doing unstoppable stuff. The very first scene sets the tone for the rest of the season, as we watch Reacher beat the living hell out of a carjacker. Richardson is joined by some ex-teammates, including Neely from Season 1, as they team up to avenge their dead friends and foil some terrorist evil in the process. Robert Patrick plays the main villain, who I absolutely love. He has great on-screen presence and is sinister as hell every time he speaks.
You're f***ing with the wrong guy, Reacher. You should know that this doesn't end well for you.
I feel like they could have done a little bit more with Ferdinand Kingsley's character, but hey, I can't complain too much. The rest of the cast really pulled their weight, and the screen chemistry is great. Reacher provides a kind of entertainment that's been missing from American TV for a long time. Reacher serves a group that wants to see a good old-fashioned show where the good guys win in the end. Just a dude out in the world trying to do some good on his own terms. Well, Reacher gives you that and more. There are awesome shootouts, incredible combat, and some badass kills. It was wildly entertaining, smart, not woke at all, and all the while not taking itself too seriously. Did I mention that it was full of action? It's kind of the point of the show. Everything else is well done, but they're just a way to show our main character throwing a criminal out of a helicopter. You don't have to worry about me spoiling it too much. The show is so awesome, it's basically spoiler-proof. I feel like Hollywood really pulls its punches when gunning for action. Aside from a few deviations, most modern action shows have shitty combat and poorly graphed gunfights. But Jack Reacher had me wanting to go to war. Any war. In fact, I almost did a little salute at the end. Some Season 1 reviews I've seen say it's a state-sponsored army and government propaganda.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I think that's laughable for many reasons. For one, the show gets too many things wrong about the army. Secondly, the bad guys are corrupt soldiers, a dirty police force, the military-industrial complex, and a dirty politician. That's hardly pro-army or government to me. In fact, Reacher is largely apolitical. There's no wailing about this terrible group or the other. There's no sob story to defend every casting. You couldn't guess the political leanings of a single character in the show. The social commentary is paper thin, but yeah, that's what I expect from a buddy cop series. One of the most refreshing parts about Reacher is there's no lecturing of any kind. None. At all.
Some kind of smart guy?
Smarter than you.
That's about as rare as a unicorn sighting these days in Hollywood. What a lot of people don't realize is that most people have no problems with progressive stuff on their screen. They just don't like being lectured about it. People do care about politics, of course, but you're bombarded with it everywhere else that it's so refreshing to be able to turn on your screen and not be told what colors mean what and what political views are correct to have. It's just old school fun. Is there a gay or transgender character in this? I don't know. It's never announced, just like no one announced in real life prior to 2016. Some characters seem to be on the queer side. For example, there's some hint at Neagley being asexual, but it's never put on a billboard and never used to signal virtue. Reacher himself is a pretty well-rounded guy. Alan Ritchson is a straight, white Christian male, which is an endangered Hollywood species at this point. On the one hand, the vastly powerful masculine ideal that Reacher represents is a trope Hollywood claims to make you a bigot or toxically masculine. But on the other hand, Reacher's most trusted aide is a genius African-American ex-soldier. His second most trusted aide is an incorruptible African-American detective. His hand-picked 110th unit is half made up of women and minorities. The showrunners could easily take the cheap route and announce every 10 minutes how much diversity and inclusion they're doing, but they don't. The show focuses on entertaining viewers who've taken time out of their busy schedules to watch the series, and it makes it worth the time. Nothing really hits the spot like a really satisfying ending. Viewers want to know that at the end of the hours spent, they get a payoff that makes it worth it.
I will ruin your life with one phone call.
I'll end your life with one phone.
Reacher delivers that in full. One criticism leveled a lot is they didn't feel the action scenes with the women were overly realistic, especially with Neagley. Fair enough, it's hard to imagine a woman could fight multiple assassins at once in hand-to-hand combat, but some of these fights were really close. Many times the women were almost killed until saved by a teammate, and they fight smart instead of going strength for strength. Plus, Neagley is almost 6 foot tall, with extensive military training. I'm sure she can handle a punch or two. It may have gotten a bit unrealistic sometimes, but this is Reacher we're talking about. It's a pulp action detective series. They're all Mary Sues. It's kind of the vibe of the show. Don't think about it too much. To me, this was a home run by every metric imaginable, and reminds me why I was so pumped for season 2. Now that it's officially done, all I can say is I hope we get 10 more seasons. I'd say Amazon did things really well with this show. The show's blend of action, comedy, and mystery makes for compelling viewing. The lack of politics makes it even more palatable. Men are men, women are women. There's clear good guys and bad guys. In the end, the good beat the fear of God into the bad guys. The blood flows, and everyone goes home happy.